Hey, what's going on guys? It's Vinnie here, and today I'm going to be installing 2 bathroom faucets at a client's house here. So I'm just going to do a brief tutorial slash just walkthrough showing you guys how I end up doing it. We're going to replace both of these faucets here. So we're going from this to this. Alright, so first I gotta remove this. And it looks like there's just some screws up there. And then also you don't want to forget, shut your water off. Oh, see some water. Could be a bad valve. We will see. Lay a towel down in here. Make sure we don't get any water anywhere. If there is any that leaks. Okay. I just usually sit a bucket under this so we can take our trap out. You see all that water comes out. And that way we can catch it without creating a mess. Yuckies. Gotta pinch this tab here and it'll slide off, and then this piece will come out. Just push that off to the side. That's for your drain lock or drain stop, drain block, whatever you want to call it. Gotta break that nut up here loose, and that's what's gonna be holding the drain in. All right, now that that's loose, we're gonna push this up and then go up on top and unscrew the center piece of the drain. Alright, so if you need more room, there's a rubber gasket on the bottom you could push lower, and now you can see we got more room. Let's see if this comes off. There we go. Got it. Alright, so that piece comes off and then the drain will lower out. Suggest keeping that in the bucket. You can clean all this out. You're going to want to make sure you clean that hole pretty good. Cool, looks good. That's just a little bit of old rust. Nothing we could do right there. Smooth surface, that's what you're looking for. All right, now there's 2 nuts, one on each side that holds that plate up. So there's a nut there and then one up over there. I'm gonna get a pair of pliers and start to loosen them a little bit. And a small adjustable wrench should do good too. See if I could show you guys. So we loosened up these 2 nuts here, so you should be able to get the rest of it by hand. And we don't got to go too far because they're slotted plates. Just down a little bit, and then that plate should come right out of the slot, which should then release the actual fixture itself. Go. Here's just a better angle of what actually locks down your sink faucet. Just that nut. And then like we said, the slotted plate right here just slides in up against there and will clamp up against your sink right around that hole. Double check before we pull it out. So we disconnected both of our copper lines. Water's obviously off. Disconnected our drain stop. Real quick, this bracket that is right here with that screw, this goes to that sink drain. We're just gonna loosen that little screw right there, and this will come right out. Cool. So then that comes off, and we took out the 2 nuts up top to make sure the bathroom faucet is disconnected from the sink. So with that, should be able to just lift this right out now. And if they have copper pipes on the bottom, then you may have to finagle them around. There you go. You just want to be careful if you're working on a porcelain sink because you can chip these pretty easy. So I put this in here, and I open up the valve and the water, you might hear it, starts draining out. Great, and then when you're done with that, close the valve. All right, typically you're gonna need to save this piece that goes to your sink trap and this clear plastic gasket thing. So you see this one's a little stuck, so we're gonna try to get it off without breaking it. So I slide it down, and then we might have to get a little dirty here, but there's usually some buildup on the end. You just wanna clean that off. It's nice to have a small rag for that. Okay, clean that, and then should be able to wiggle this off. And then I just took this and rinsed it, and let's not forget this piece too, so we'll rinse this off as well. All right, now we're just gonna wanna make sure we clean that all off. If you have some type of rubbing alcohol or cleaning agent, you can get that ring off, because there's a good chance the new fixture's not gonna match up with that line, and you might see it. I'm gonna try to use just a little plastic scraper real gently on here. A lot better than it was. All right, so we got the Moen faucet down here. It says to scan this QR code here, and then you can pull the instructions right up on your phone, which is pretty convenient as long as you have a phone. All right, looks like our first step is to get our gasket. Okay, it's not actually that sticky, so that will go down here very nicely. Now, once you got that gasket in the back, looks like it tells us to feed these through. All right, so we're gonna feed this down in those holes. There is one of the lines labeled as hot side, but for us, this is just a center hole faucet, so both the lines are gonna go down through the center. You're gonna have to do one at a time so they fit. Awesome. All right, next step is going to be to go under the sink. They give us this like moon bracket looking thing, and then this is a super long like threaded nut that's gonna go over that hole. You'll see down once we go under there, there's gonna be a long threaded rod. This is gonna attach. It's gonna go up against the sink. There's a rubber gasket here that goes against the sink, and then the metal side faces down, and that rod will come through, and then we'll screw in the nut. All right, so I'm gonna hold it from up top, and I'm holding it up there so this rod right here stays straight, and we're gonna take that half moon clip with the rubber side facing up. Just like that. All right, so if the thickness of the top of your sink is thicker than 1 inch, then you're gonna wanna take this and you're gonna put these threads facing up. Now, if it's thinner than 1 inch, then you can flip it around and use the open side first. So this does look thinner than 1 inch, so we're gonna do that. Started the threads down on the bottom. So we're not gonna tighten it all the way because we're gonna go up top first and center everything. All right, so from up top, I got it all centered. Moen gives you a long extension piece that should be able to slide up and tighten that nut up. So I kind of like to look up top, make sure everything's looking good and centered. Once everything looks centered up top, I can begin to tighten this. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Nice and tight. You don't want to over tighten it again if you're on porcelain. So now we can clean our sink drain out again. Make sure there's nothing around this center spot. You're gonna take your drain piece, take that off, pop this off. I guess also notice the orientation of everything before you do that. And then this piece is part of the drain, and it should have a rubber gasket that sits up all the way up along the flange. There. So once all that's clean, that can go and sit straight down in there. Then we're gonna go from the bottom with the slanted part facing up, just like this. We're gonna slide it up onto the bottom of that drain and then lock it in with the locking nut. So you might wanna hold the top of the drain with your other hand so it doesn't move around. There you go. It's going to be a snug fit for that rubber gasket, but that's kind of what really helps seal everything here. So now we're going to take our nut. And then you just want to double check up there that the drain's centered in the sink, which I already did. Looks good. You don't have to overkill this because, again, you don't want to damage the sink. Okay, looks good. All right, now we're gonna attach our water lines here. Again, like I said, one of them's marked as the hot side, which was right here. Usually hot's on your left side. So we're gonna attach this on the left. And inside of here is a rubber O-ring. So a lot of times I see it's not recommended to use Teflon tape on them. So we're not gonna use that here. And since these copper pipes are pretty high up, you can just kind of twist these a little tiny bit. So you can see the hose sticks up higher and it doesn't run into any of the drawers. It's gonna vary depending on the vanity you have, but try to be mindful of that because you don't want a drawer hitting these hoses because over time it could cause a leak. And the instructions say make sure you don't use any thread tape on here or plumber's tape, so it's a good thing we didn't. And we're going to just tighten them up now. I recommend to hold the actual water line while you're tightening these, or hold the valve, and you don't need to go crazy on these because, like I said, there's a rubber seal in there. You just want to snug these up, and right when you feel that they're not turning that much, then that means you're probably seated all the way down. Make sure my sink up top is shut off. I'm just gonna hit this water for a second. And now once you crack that open a little bit, make sure there's no leaks, no water dripping anywhere. We're gonna check both. No water dripping anywhere. If there was water on it previously, make sure you dry that off so you can see clearly if anything's leaking or not. All right, I'm just gonna shut these back off until we get our drain all connected. So in case we hit the sink up top, it doesn't actually leak any water. Before we install our sink trap again, now's a good time to clean all the gunk out of it. Usually just get some toilet papers. It's gonna stink pretty bad. Cool, both sides look pretty clean. So now we can go install it. All right, first things first, get the nut that goes onto the top of your trap, and that's gonna go up onto the drain first. And then you're gonna get your clear plastic piece. It's like on an angle, you can see the flat part goes up. So we're gonna do that. Cool. Next, get your trap. You wanna put the long part of the trap up onto the sink drain first, and then swing over the bottom. And we can then line up our bottom piece, get that nut on first. And as you tighten that, it should straighten out. And then you can slide that clear plastic piece down into the top part of the trap and then screw that other nut down on it. And remember, this is plastic, so don't crank this too tight. All right, now I'll just make sure you wipe everything off, dry it, make sure everything looks clean. So when we go to test this, we can see if anything's leaking. All right, cut our water back on. And moment of truth. So when you first open this, you may hear air shooting out first. That's just the air bubbles and all the air in the lines clearing out. All right, we almost forgot. We got the drain here, so that's gonna push its way down. It just sits in there. Now always make sure when you're running this that you're looking for any types of dripping, any leaks from both your water valves and from your drain. So now I have the plug shut, the drain locked down. It's one of those push button ones. So I always sit here for a moment, make sure there's no air bubbles coming up, and make sure our water level is not sinking. That will tell you that there's no leaks with that drain here. So now we can open it and we're watching for any leaks. Everything looks good. Very nice. Good thing to test for is hot. Should be on the left. Let that run, make sure it gets hot. And cold should be on the right. Everything seems to be good. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. That's how you install a faucet in a bathroom sink, just like that, including the drain. So if this video helped you guys out, please leave me a like. If you guys have any questions at all about it, please leave them down in the comments. I'll get back to you. And if you're looking for more of this kind of content, then hit that subscribe button because there'll be plenty more videos coming your way. Appreciate you guys sticking through with me on this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.